Blake, pick a man, bring your kit.
I hoped today might be a good day. Hope is a dangerous thing.
Why did you choose to tell this story now?
It had always been a part of me, this story, or some version of this story, because my grandfather told me these stories of his experiences in World War I. He fought there as a 17-year-old. And I suppose my first experience of war was listening to these stories. I felt I could take one of these stories that my grandfather told me, which was his story of carrying a message through no man's land. It was just a very short story, but that image always stayed with me. And when I sat down to write, that was the story I felt I wanted to tell. So then we had to make it into a much bigger, more epic journey.
You have a brother in the 2nd Battalion.
Yes, sir.
They're walking into a trap. Your orders are to deliver a message, calling off tomorrow morning's attack.
There was a huge amount of research for the film, and then I went to northern France and I drove around the exact area that the film's set in. I did the journey that the two boys would have gone on, and toured a lot of the battlefields, the Somme, Thiepval, which was really very moving.
Let's talk about this for a minute.
Why?
We've got orders to cross here.
That is the German front line.
How is it like to be part of such a great project?
It's wonderful. It was the most amazing learning experience to be a part of it, and a real honour to be part of the story that Sam and Christy have written together.
I mean, it truly is a dream come true for an actor, and to play a role like Blake and Schofield, I'm sure, you know, it's a real role that you can dig your teeth into with the research, you know, and just the experience of it. You know, I'll never forget it.
So why did you choose to do a single shot for this movie?
Well, I wanted the audience to be with the men all the time, and I wanted them to feel every second passing with the men. I wanted them not to see any further than the characters can see. I wanted to feel how difficult it was, how far the distance, and the genuine physical challenge of getting across.
So making a movie that's all one shot is fraught with difficulties. The movie has to be in real time. And if you take a chunk of your life that is like 2 hours long, and it's got a beginning, a middle and an end, it's got interesting characters, it's got maybe a few action set pieces, and is worth $90 million budget filmmaking, they're few and far between, right? There's not that many people who can say, oh yeah, I've got that chunk of life. So as a storyteller, you have to feel out how far you can push the audience, how far you can push the drama and the narrative before people watching it go, oh no, that's not believable. And what was so important with 1917 was that it was believable, that you could imagine that these young boys had done this journey.
If we're not clever about this, no one will get to your brother. I will.
What was your first reaction when you knew the movie was going to be a single shot?
I heard about it in my second audition, which was the first time I met Sam, and it was just excitement, really, more than anything, I think. Because it was, you know, at that point I didn't have a script, so it was kind of about, I was trying to get anything I could about, you know, understanding of what this experience might be. And then when Sam said that, it just was like, it was thrilling because he said, you know, we're gonna have to rehearse this for months beforehand.
Like George found out on the second audition, and Sam told me, but he sort of told me in a way where he was talking about a million other things at the same time, and he was talking pretty fast. Talking about Blake, talking about his granddad and how it inspired him to make the film. And we're going to do it in one shot. And I was a little bit like, what? But it didn't really sink in until I left the building, called my mum. And I was like, yeah, and then he said it's going to be in one shot. I was like, that can't be right.
There was a lot of pressure because of that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, especially us as the actors that's the ones having to do it. You don't want to be the one to ruin a take.
What was it like when some actor made a mistake?
Well, sometimes they made a mistake that's in the movie, and a good mistake, but most of the time, you know, we just stopped and we had to go back to the beginning. But it wasn't actors making mistakes. The camera operators, it was so difficult for them. You know, you would sometimes have a 7-minute take, and after 6 minutes and 30 seconds it was perfect, and then the camera operator would slip, or a prop would break, or an actor would make a mistake, and then you couldn't use any of it. You just had to start again. It was very frustrating, and I swore a lot. But then when you get the take that you want, it's a wonderful feeling.
If you don't get there in time, we will lose 1,600 men. Your brother among them. Good luck.
Why did you choose 2 new actors to carry the lead role to the movie?
Well, I kind of wanted the audience to feel like they were just 2 ordinary soldiers out of 2 million. Almost wanted them to feel that they weren't special, they were just average people, and then gradually learn who they were during the course of the movie and learn about their past and about their friendship.
And why do you think is so important to tell this story now?
Here's the thing, even though World War I is 100 years ago, the actual themes of this movie, which are what will you do to save someone you love, is timeless. Everyone can understand that. You don't need to know anything about the First World War to sit in this movie and to go on the journey.
And I think we properly can investigate what it is to be human when you see humans being stretched to their absolute limits, physically and emotionally, a circumstance that just pulls you to your absolute limits. And that, for me, is what the film's about, is actually the human experience of kind of what it is to be alive.